Welcome to this week's episode of Listen to Your Coaches. I'm your coach, Mike Wilkins, here with Coach Will Morrow. And behind the scenes, we got a young Max Gerald with his own mic ready to rock. Clap, 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 clap. So this week, we're going to debut a new format for the show, okay? I grew up loving sports, watching as much sports as I could and everything about it, right? Watching shows like Sports Center, clearly, Around the Horn, and Pardon the Interruption. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to steal from Pardon the Interruption and kind of use their format. And we're going to do that for our recaps, right? Sometimes I feel like in our recaps, we just kind of like draw on and on and on about the early fights. And then we lose that steam when it comes towards the later fights. So Max has a timer set up, and we are limited to 90 seconds per fight. So let's see how it works. I'm pretty excited about it. All right,
let's do it.
So with that being said, we are going to start with our recap of the fights this past Saturday, which was a UFC Fight Night headlined by Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodrigues. Max, why don't you take over the hosting duties?
So we're going to start off with the first fight, a women's bantamweight fight between Julia Avila and Jacqueline Cavalcante. Do you guys know who wants to go first here?
We're just going to rip. Yeah, we're just going right now. So I'm just going to take off going first.
So
this was a top 15 matchup. Both of these women were ranked. It was a 12 versus 13, and they put it on as the curtain jerker to the early prelims, and I think that's a little bit disrespectful.
I agree.
Right? Like, there's several unranked fights that follow this, including an unranked fighter in the main event itself. So that's one thing to keep in mind here. But this fight, it was a solid fight. It was a solid fight. In my opinion, Cavalcante carried the fight the entire time, used long, strong strikes, kept Avila on the warning track without overly pressuring through. And that was pretty much the story of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. The number one story I took away from this, and I hate to reduce it this much, but it was really just the youth against I hate to say someone's old when she was 36 or something.
Yeah.
But for fighting, you know what I mean? That it's on the higher side. So that's kind of what I saw, is just a little bit of a speed, skill, and there's just that youth that just it makes you better at fighting.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line, she was busier too.
Exactly.
Right? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And she was busier, and she was throwing in combinations. At one point, she dropped her and split her open. She caught a kick, dropped her, split her open. Villa chased it down for a low single takedown, and that was pretty much the highlight of Avila's night after getting split open, having a counter takedown go down. So that's all I got on that one.
Me too.
Max, go ahead and move us on.
Sounds good. So next fight, heavyweights, Don'Tale Mayes and Walter Walker.
Whew. All right. So, this is going to be an amazing streak that we're going to see coming on.
Yeah, dude.
And we're going to talk about larger fighters getting takedowns and then dropping back to a leg lock. Okay, so essentially that's what happened in this fight.
Yeah.
Walter Walker, immediately shot just kind of like an open double, power double, ran him into the cage, used the cage for the bounce, finished on top, didn't spend much time there before dropping back and attacking a heel hook on Mayes, right? Mayes comes into this fight with an 11-7 record, which is just when I see that in the UFC, I'm just blown away, right? And I think Mayes is now 4-6 in the UFC, and I think that already thin heavyweight division of only 30 men on the roster is about to drop to 20.
I mean, they just cut Rosenstruck. He's way better, so
Yeah.
But I think that what's interesting about Walker is think about the fame his brother got based on compared to his abilities. Obviously, more fame than abilities. Dude, Walter 6'6", better fight IQ than Johnny. He's shooting off top. Dude, I think he's gonna have a better run than his brother.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about his run. He's 13-1. He's in a very thin division to begin with. You know what? I say, why does us as a podcast, we need to get behind Walter.
Oh, dude, I'm on board. Dude, that's 2 heel hooks in a row, too. How can you not love that?
Yeah, love it. All right, we're done here. Max, move us on.
So next up, we come to Vince Morales and Elijah Smith.
I am very excited about this fight. Okay, very excited.
Yes.
First off, I got so much to take away from this fight, and I think this was a great fight for a young Elijah Smith. First, one of the things to point out here, I recently heard Deion Sanders talking about his quarterbacks that he looks to like recruit and stuff, and he likes them to be a coach's son, right? Because they know a little bit more about the game, and they were bred for the IQ of the game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Well, Elijah Smith, he's a coach's son. His father fought in the UFC, had one UFC appearance, and was on 2 installments of The Ultimate Fighter. So yeah. So you know, he's born and grew up through the game. You know,
Dude, I thought that he looked like, you know, kind of green, but that makes sense because he's only got what, like 9 fights, and I thought that was reflected. With that said, I think he's got really good potential. I think physically, he's got the speed. He doesn't telegraph his punches too much. I mean, clearly a good wrestler. I thought he looked awesome. I'm excited.
He did look awesome, but yet this was still a very competitive fight.
For sure. Oh, for
Vince
sure.
Morales, very strong at controlling the positioning on the feet, right? Like he controlled where they were going to be on the feet. Okay.
And that's one of the things that Smith's gonna have to figure out.
Right. But with that being said, Elijah Smith just too fast. His punches were long. They were snappy.
Yes.
All his strikes were long and snappy. He also had really great takedown entries.
Yes.
You know, and could wrestle through and finish.
That's what impressed me the most.
That is what impressed me the most. And he had really great grappling. Now, that's not to say that Vince Morales didn't have great grappling. He had what I like to call the puncher's chance in grappling. All right. You know, like, it's like, hey, man, this guy's going to outstrike this other guy time and time again, but this other dude's got power. Right. Well, Vince Morales, he had those Darce chokes, those anaconda chokes. They were dangerous, and I think that really kept Elijah kind of like
couldn't open
a little bit hesitant there, but pulls out unanimous decision winning 2 out of the 3 rounds.
Yeah.
All right.
One thing, am I allowed to mention just a little thing about that fight?
Not at all. Yeah, of course.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out how we're doing this.
No, that's perfect.
One thing I just wanted to point out, you mentioned Elijah being the son of, you know, the coach and his dad, who was also a fighter. Elijah Smith. Yeah, Elijah Smith is now, I saw it yesterday, the first second generation UFC fighter to get a win in the UFC. Him and his father both have gotten wins in the UFC, and that's like the first time that's ever happened.
Oh, good for them. His father won? I think his father lost.
So.
I think his father's own won in the UFC.
They might be counting
Ultimate Fighter,
one of the tough appearances then.
Yeah,
but they said that that's the first like second generation where.
Dude, either way,
are they the first? Are we aware if they're the first? If he's the first second generation? Period.
I think they said they were the second, but I don't remember perfectly. I think they said it was the second. Though.
I'll check on that, but I'm pretty sure there's one.
Randy and Ryan Couture.
Okay, then yeah, there's at least.
Was Ryan in the UFC?
One.
Maybe not. Was that just Strikeforce?
Because was Randy like out by that point?
Yeah. So okay, you know that's something. You know what?
We'll find out
after this segment. Let's put a cliff note on that, and hopefully we remember to come back to it. All right. But anyhow, let's move us on. Next fight.
So next fight is a welterweight fight between Gabriel Bonfim and Chaos Williams.
Dude. My brother, Bonfim's jab.
Brother, that's what I was gonna say.
I got all caps. Bonfim's jab. Go ahead. You gotta have stuff on this.
So okay, absolutely the jab. We'll get into the jab, but dude, also he looked complete. He was shooting right, and I thought his like grappling looked solid. I also kind of like his movement, like his elbows hold almost still, and his arms kind of like it looks kind of goofy, but it's difficult to pick up on. He's really upright, which I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's too upright, his chin's up, but I think that gives him the vision that he needs. And dude, like you said, that jab is incredible.
Speaking of him being really upright, his reactive takedowns were really good, right?
Oh yeah,
like great timing, and he has to cover so much distance on his level change for that. And I think because even though he stands like rather upright or whatever, whenever he gets into his defensive stance when he's being like blitzed, he condenses.
Well, his torso is upright, I should say.
Yeah,
but he still has like a good base with his legs. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, but to shoot, your torso has to make the hinge.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Your torso doesn't stay upright on your takedown entry. So I thought that was really, really good. And one thing that I really liked was at the end of the second round, leading to the finish. Right, he got into a dominant position with 30 seconds left in the round. And typically for me, that is a round stealer, and you ride that out.
Right.
And he went for the kill, and he threw that Darce choke on. A last little detail about that Darce choke. Just know this is not important, but I could tell that Chaos Williams was asleep because I could see the way that his diaphragm was pulling.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I was like, I think he's out. But I was like questioning myself. I was like,
well, because Felder was like, oh, he doesn't have that. And then like a second later he was out, which I mean, we all know, like, you can't always tell.
Well, good win for Bonfim.
Yeah, he looked awesome.
Next up is Rafael Estevam and Jesus Aguilar.
All right, Mike.
Let's go.
Let me start.
Go for it. Run it.
I have a question for you. It's the only thing I've written down.
All right.
Why did Estevam never use hooks on the back, dude?
I just think that he wasn't creating an angle to get them in, right? Both that and Aguilar is like really small and stocky compared to Esteban, who was long and lanky, right?
Yeah.
So I think inserting the hooks was rather difficult, which is why Aguilar would quad pod up and Esteban was just
fall
handspring over the top.
But dude, it was every time. I didn't even see him like attempt to put hooks
Brother,
in.
it's what we want because flyweights are going to flyweight. And this is why we love this division, dude. This was my favorite fight of the night. And I don't think that comes as a surprise to anyone.
Wasn't my favorite, but it was up there.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, if I had to ask you, what was mine?
Yeah.
Dude, there was so much just like grappling in this fight. And, but the bottom line here is, Esteban was just significantly a step in the grappling department ahead of Aguilar, who, is not bad himself. But he's just like, when you're a step behind, you're just a step behind. In the third round, Aguilar came on strong, trying to like make up for it with like, a heavy barrage of striking, realizing that he's going to get out grappled. And you could tell that the takedown tendencies were in him as he was still like feigning for shots and like pulling himself back from shooting, like, hey, I got to knock him out or I lose.
Yeah.
Good flyweight fight, man. I love the flyweight division right now. As everybody who watches the show knows, the flyweight division is my premier division.
Dude, it's where it's at.
I love it.
I have this written for later fights, but like as I get older, pace is so much more important to me. And I mean, it doesn't get better than flyweights.
Yeah, no, it doesn't get better than flyweights. All right.
Next up, we have Angela Hill and Caitlin Souza at strawweight.
Brother.
What a good win for Angela Hill. A split decision win, and it's about time. You mentioned a stat earlier that she was 0-4 in split decisions coming into this fight. Angela Hill, 18-14 on her career, just an absolute vet.
I believe only her first fight wasn't in the UFC.
Well, let's do the math here. 32 fights. I think she had 5 fights out of the UFC because I believe that was her 27th UFC. I think that was her 27th strawweight fight. Maybe she has a couple fights at
maybe,
because I do remember them saying that she has the record for the most strawweight fights in UFC history, and that is now at 27. Max, did you pull up anything? Do we got anything on her outside of the UFC fights?
Yeah, she's got more than one fight outside the UFC. She's actually, I didn't realize this. She's actually had 2 different UFC stints.
I didn't realize that either.
I didn't know that. She had a 3-fight stretch where she fought Emily Kagan, Tisha Pennington, and Rose Namajunas back in like 2014, 2015. Then fought a bunch. She went on a 4-fight win streak over in Invicta, and then came back to the UFC and's been here ever since.
Okay, all right. Well, there you have it.
What do you know?
But I think so. She's 40 years old, and I think at the age of 40, she looks like reinvigorated and improved. And I think there's been like an extra focus on her grappling.
Yes.
Right? You know what I mean? And like being complete in that area. I feel like she probably like hit like a stride in which she got kind of like enamored and obsessed with like fell in love with it.
Yeah, she's been working with Phil Davis and she's shooting like him now,
Yeah, so.
I thought in that first round especially she showed a really complete game. To be perfectly honest, I thought she won the first round obviously, and then the next 2 rounds were kind of like but overall I'm glad she got that win.
Bottom line, she won the optics.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
All right, move us on.
Next up, we have Connor Matthews against the debuting Jose Delgado.
Brother.
Well, listen. So Connor Matthews comes out, gets a good takedown to start off this fight. I like it. I'm loving takedowns. Delgado was kind of playing a stance switch there. He came out. There was some open stance, some closed stance. After Matthews gets that takedown, Delgado blasts him, drops him, takes his back, goes to the mount, right? So then Matthews kind of retreats out of the mount. Delgado takes the back and... Will, do you recall the punch that finished this fight?
I don't.
Oh, well, I do. It was an uppercut underneath the armpit. Lucas?
Yeah, dude. Everything you said, fantastic. The number one thing that stood out to me about Delgado was like his movement, dude. He looks like he's skating. You know how like when really high level strikers are moving, it's so smooth. That's what he looked like to me. Skating, stance switching. Yeah, dude, loved it. I'm excited to see where he goes.
All right, cool. That was a quick first round knockout. So move us on. What do we got next?
Starting off the main card, I believe we have Rodolfo Vieira and Andre Petroski.
All right, shout out Rodolfo, a legend of jiu-jitsu. But yeah, this was a pretty competitive fight. On the feet, definitely, slight edge to Petroski, although, Rodolfo Vieira was definitely holding his own. On the feet, it was very competitive. I think the story of this fight was Rodolfo's inability to take down Andre Petroski, and then when he did finally get a takedown, his inability to control it, coupled with the optics of Andre Petroski getting takedowns, although he also didn't control them, but like putting Rodolfo down at the end of the round.
100%.
You know, like I just think that's like, you know, it's fight IQ, stealing rounds.
I think another important thing there, we've discussed this in the past couple of weeks, is even if, I mean, he was winning the striking, but even if the striking was closer, his looked sharper, which I thought it was pretty cool how he fights standing up wise. He's lots of feints, lots of teep feints, stepping through sometimes, stance switching. Very interesting for a middleweight to be moving like that. I would like to see him move a little bit faster, but it's hard at that weight class to make that happen.
The other thing I like to say, if you look at the fight metrics of this fight, by all metrics, Rodolfo Vieira won the fight.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
optics, right? It's like, what does it look like when it's happening and stuff like that. And the fight metrics don't always tell the full story.
100%.
I think this was the right decision, but I thought it was a very competitive fight.
Also, I found out more about significant strikes, and it's very subjective.
Very subjective?
Very subjective. I had 2 people tell me.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Alex and Josh Pollins both broke it down.
Pollins told me, but yeah. Are we confirmed on that?
They both told me independently the same thing, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Move us on.
Next up, we're looking at Ismail Bonfim and Nazim Sadikov.
Dude.
What happened?
Bro.
What happened?
I'll tell you what happened. Sadikov hit him with that question mark kick, and his eye was damaged like real bad.
Yeah?
Like, I think it's worse than it looked, because it didn't look that bad, but like you could tell something was up with him. With that said, I think Bonfim looked incredible. I think that he has tons of potential. And I'm excited to see both of them fight again. This is one of those fights where it's like, hey, you know, I don't look at this as like win or loser. I look at it as like, yo, I'm the winner for getting to watch that. And I'm excited to watch both of them fight. Very fired up for Sadikov because, you know, from Azerbaijan. He's from the same city as our boy Farman. So, you know, very cool. Cool fight. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, like, I just thought, like, my big takeaway from it is, like, actually outside of the fight was, like, the confusion going on in the corner. Felt like there was, like, maybe some misinterpretation between translation. It looked like he was saying yes, and the doctor says he can't see. Perhaps the doctor was like, can you see? He said he can't see, and then he was agreeing, like, yes, I can't see. I didn't know if he was rung up or if it was, like, an actual eye injury. And if it's an actual eye injury, are toe pokes the same as like eye pokes? Like, because you can't put your toes in the cage.
I don't think it was a toe. I think it was just shin. It just caught him weird. Like,
hey, that's part of it.
Exactly. I do think he was rung up too. But like I said, I'm still very impressed with Bonfim.
It still brings it to my attention. Like, you know, like, can you poke someone in the eye with your toe? Is that legal?
It's probably not legal, but I think it's probably like striking the back of the head standing. Like, probably no one sees it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we're moving on. We're no longer on this fight, so our time is up. But you're not allowed to punch people in the back of the head standing?
No.
What if you're standing in front of them?
What do you mean?
I just feel like if you hit someone in the back of the head while you're standing in front of them, that's
right. That's a them issue.
Yeah, it's a them issue.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Move us on.
Next up is Edmund Shabazian and Dylan Budka.
Bop, bop, pow.
Number one thing I got about this is the way that he reacted after landing that right hand, and like just like kind of shocked and like looking at his corner, and they said it afterwards that they had practiced that like slip inside overhand, but I don't think it was just the technique. I think that his corners saw something about that double jab entry that Bud could use from a little too far out, little bit, you know, not weight distribution wasn't like perfect on it. And I think that's what set it up. And I think that's what his coaches saw. Good job by Edmund listening to his coaches. That's really all I got.
Yeah, I mean, short and sweet. I got nothing to add. Move us on.
Next up, we're looking at the co-main, Calvin Kattar and Youssef Zalal.
Yikes. Will, you go ahead.
Okay, so I know there's some hate on Zalal because he was, quotes, running. I didn't think so. I thought that his movement was all useful, and I thought that he only disengaged at the correct times, and he still did engage. He's not like the best at that, so like I can see why it's not as visually pleasing to some fans, but I very much enjoyed his style. I like that a lot. The one thing I would like to see more from him is flying knees and elbows. I think if you use that style and you can cause people to chase you, you can just crash in with some like really heavy strikes like that and do some serious damage. Obviously very upset that Kattar lost because, you know, we're both fans. But overall, I was very impressed by him.
Yeah, I mean, just picking his shots, the accuracy, just like far more accurate.
Still shooting too. I love that.
Well, yeah, still shooting. They both threw the exact same number of strikes, and one of them landed nearly twice as much as the other. So that kind of paints the picture there. Also, only one of them was also attempting takedowns. I just wasn't a fan of the fight in general.
That's fair.
Just like if somebody hated a fight that was all grappling, like I get it.
Right.
Not your cup of tea. This was not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Pump it.
So finally, we are on to the main event.
Wow.
Jared Cannonier and Gregory Rodrigues.
Is Jared Cannonier's MMA's B-Hop?
Dude, he might be.
Is he MMA's B-Hop?
Dude, he might be. That's a great comparison.
He's 40 years old.
And he looks great.
Dude, he looks great.
And, dude, he absorbed damage well. It's not like he just didn't get hit at all. Like, he got hit and just was okay.
He looks not out of his prime.
Dude, I agree.
At 40 years old.
I agree. I'm very impressed with that.
That coupled with Gregory Rodrigues basically being gassed after the first round, you got to wonder, like, can he be a 5-round fighter? Can he be a main event fighter? He clearly has an enormous weight cut. He looks bigger than 205ers, and he's fighting at middleweight.
That's what I was going to say. That's my big note is how does he make weight, and is that going to hurt him moving forward? Is that, what caused him to get hurt?
I think he should maybe consider taking a gander at light heavyweight.
Yeah, he's got easier competition there.
Yeah, arguably easier competition. And we were talking in the past about what weight classes combine together well. Like we've seen a lot of 185ers go 205.
Absolutely.
Anthony Smith was a 185er and he ended up making his way to a title fight at 205, and I'm sure he's not the only example of that.
For sure.
So maybe consider him bumping up there. But
Cannonier did the opposite.
yeah, heavyweight all the way down. But I think that fits. I think that fits Cannonier. Bottom line, Cannonier really put it on him. The end of the third round was rather brutal, and he opens up the fourth round 21 seconds in with the knockout.
Dude, you know who I think Rodrigues should fight next?
Who?
If who was it? Petrosky called out Bo Nickel. I do like that matchup, but if they don't make that, I think Bo and Rodrigues is a good fight to make.
Okay, that does it for these fights. But just like a little cap off wrap up, I didn't watch any of the interviews because I watched. We were at fights. So I watched them on ESPN Plus the next day, and I just watched individual fights, so I didn't watch it through.
Right.
So when a fight was over,
it's just on to the
after
next
the decision was announced, click that next one. So I didn't see anything about call-outs and things of that nature.
Yeah. So Petrosky called out Bo Nickel, and Bo responded on somewhere and was like, "Oh, I'm not fighting bums" or something like that.
That's wild.
Well, I think it's a good matchup for both of them because think about it. Bo needs to prove to the MMA community that he's about that life and can get finishes.
I like that fight. And I want to see that fight.
I agree.
I want to see that fight.
And Petrosky could, use that as a massive stepping off point. There's massive benefit for both of them to win in that fight. So I think that
I like that call out.
No good.
That's a fight I want to see.
I would like to see that fight as well.
Max, is Bo have a fight already booked? I'm not aware.
I don't think so.
I haven't seen anything official that says he has a fight booked. I've seen speculation that he's going to fight in Miami in April, but I haven't heard anything about an opponent yet.
All right, well, that's too quick a turnaround for Petrosky for this, but Bo Nickel off of whoever that is, the win off of that, Petrosky be good, and I can't believe Bo Nickel called him a bum.
I don't think he said exactly that, but that was the message basically.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Well, I mean, hey guys, as a team, what were your thoughts on running it down in that format? I liked it.
I agree.
I think it kept it concise and sweet.
Yeah, I think it's more engaging.
Yeah,
I think we all agree. But more importantly, you guys let us know. What did you think?
Yes, please let us know what you thought about that kind of format. I mean, we're going to continue to do it for a while at least until it epically crashes and burns.
Do you want to do stocks up, stocks down?
Yeah, so we're going to introduce another segment that we plan on keeping with the UFC recap here. Stock up, stock down, in which not necessarily timed, but we're just going to kind of talk about who we think benefited from the night, who we think's down and out from that night, and things of that nature. You can start. I can start.
I got it. Go ahead. My stock up, Angela Hill, dude, showing a complete game. Getting takedowns, and then finally winning a split decision. You know what I mean? I can see the argument for her not having won that fight, but interesting enough, think about it like pride rules. Like if you just judge it as a whole, yeah, she won it. The second 2 rounds were very close, and the first round she absolutely won. So like in my mind, that was the right decision. I'm glad she got it. Like I said, she looks fantastic. I thought that her skills looked better than I've ever seen her show off before. Age is obviously an issue, but like doesn't look like it. So, good for her. So that's my stock up. My stock down, unfortunately, my man Calvin Kattar, dude, he hasn't won since 22. He's on a 4-fight skid. He's 1-5 in his last 6. The thing is, he only fights great fighters. You know what I mean? Like if you look at his record, like it's all killers. And so like it makes sense. It's one of those things, and they're close fights too. You're like, like he's in this, so that's why, Zalal's win is so impressive, because it's like if you beat Kattar, like you're the real deal. Could they cut Kattar? Unlikely at this point. He would probably have to lose at least one more, but I'm really hoping they don't give him another killer, because right now his stock is headed the wrong direction, which I'm very unhappy about.
Okay, my stock up is 40's the new 30.
Yeah.
Jared Cannonier and Angela Hill, both coming in at 40 years old, notching wins, keeping the dream alive.
Yeah,
right?
Dude.
Yeah, that's it. My stock down, fights without takedowns. Just not into it.
When you say without takedowns, do you mean none attempted or none completed?
None completed.
Mm-hmm. What if there's 2 real good wrestlers?
Especially none attempted.
What if it's 2 real good wrestlers and they're shooting, they're like getting down to where like it's almost a takedown, but like pop up, wizard kick out, something
without
like that.
grappling exchanges.
Gotcha.
Because those would be grappling exchanges.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Now, speaking of stocks.
Hold on real quick. Stock up. I should have mentioned this about Angela Hill too. With her skills, specifically clinch. I was just thinking about grappling. Her stand-up like Thai style grappling abilities looked really, really good, and it's pretty rare that you see MMA fighters use that effectively. Usually they're not great at that kind of style of stand-up clinching. Hers actually looked good, so very impressed with that.
Okay, now speaking of stocks, if you want to play the stock market right, what you need to do is you need to recognize something before it happens, right? And here goes who you need to buy stock in: Elijah Smith.
Dude, yeah.
100%. Here goes the reason why. Showcased a lot of good things, but he honestly, he won a 2-1 decision, and honestly, like he didn't look great.
Yeah.
Right? He had moments that like were not going well for him. He's 22 years old, and dude, I can just see so much potential in him. 100%. So right now, I feel like this is the lowest, this is the cheapest you're going to get this stock. You know what I mean? This is like, Bitcoin back when you told me about it.
Yeah. So, no, I agree 100%. He was just like, you see where he could be really, really good, but he's not quite there yet, which is fine. Like you said, he's 22.
Yep, 22. I believe now
9 fights, 10 fights, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but and he's a complete fighter, and he's just like, dude, like, let me see this kid when he's 26.
Yeah, dude.
4 years from now, like, think about that. 4 years from now, like, my favorite college freshman wrestlers are done. They're gone. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to be on a whole new like cycle, and he'll only be 26.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so that pretty much puts a bow on the UFC Fight Night for us. All right, cool. So we're going to move on to some other fights that happened simultaneously this weekend. Will and we were at the MadeMen fights at the Mountaineer. I was going to say Meadows. At the Mountaineer Racetrack and Casino, and we were there to corner Bronco Busick. Will, how'd Bronco do this weekend?
Phenomenally.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's always a joy to corner Bronco. He keeps a lighthearted locker room. We have a lot of fun while we're there.
Just awesome mindset.
Very calm the entire time. He just oozes gratitude as well. But basically, Bronco goes out, plays a very disciplined stand-up game, gets a strong double leg, lands some very thoughtful shot selection from his ground and pound, and then drops back on an ankle.
Well, hold on, we're skipping something. You and I both saw him wrap up an ankle, and like we see his body start going back, and I could feel you at the same time. We both were like, no.
Yeah,
because generally speaking, in MMA, falling back into
I had
locks.
forgotten that he did that in his last fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh crap, he dropped back on a leg lock last fight too.
Exactly. That's why I was like, yo, dude, like this probably isn't a good idea. Let's chill on that. And I was like, no. And then, dude, he lands a couple shots and then boom, drops back on it. He starts cranking. Immediately you start going, so the way Mike and I coach is 90+% of the time, if someone's standing, it's going to be me talking, right? And occasionally, like you'll chime in.
If I talk while someone's standing, it's to tell them to get a takedown.
Sometimes, but yeah, you'll say some other things from time to time, but it's generally me. On the ground,
it's always you. If I say something, I say it to you to tell them because you have your language.
Yeah.
So if I'm like, man, I'm like, Will, like he needs to get the jab moving more. I need this right kick.
But there are occasional things that you will say that aren't takedown related, partially because if someone's listening to this and then they're like, oh, I'm going to fight one of Mike's fighters. Oh, I heard him say something standing up. This dude's going to shoot on me. There are other things that you'll say too.
Yeah.
Or maybe there aren't, and maybe I'm just messing with you. Who knows? You'll figure it out. But either way, the vast majority of the time standing, it's, one of us, and then on the ground, it's the other, right? Of course, as soon as it hits the ground, I'm like, I'm done. Mike is like, yo, throw, because he was in like kind of a regular, I call it like a regular Ashi position. What's it actually called?
Yeah.
What he started in.
He was in just Ashi.
Okay, just regular Ashi.
Regular, not outside.
Yeah,
not
and then Mike is like,
inside Ashi. Yeah.
He's like, step on his hip.
Yeah.
And dude, he throws both feet up on top of the hip and then just cranks, gets the tap.
Yeah.
So afterwards, Bronco is like, yo, which one of you guys told me to put the feet on the hip? Which, first off, that's hilarious because it's like, dude, it definitely wasn't me.
Yeah.
And then secondly, he was like, yo, like that really worked. Like as soon as I did that, like I felt like I could like rip his foot off. I was like, dude, that's super sick that you just like upped his ankle lock ability like 10 times in the middle of that fight.
Yeah,
like, that's so sick.
Awesome. I couldn't imagine Bronco ripping on a proper ankle lock on me.
Dude, Bronco is like really, really athletic.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, so another great win by Bronco. Hopefully, quick turnaround. I'd like to see him back in swiftly. All right, cool. On the same card, we had a handful of our friends fight.
Absolutely.
The nephew, Noah Doyle, comes out, makes his opponent quit at the end of the second round.
Yeah.
Using really long striking, some knees in the clinch. Superior grappling, takedowns, got 2 takedowns in the fight. He was on his back pounding on him, right? And it was really hard to tell. Like I wasn't sure if the fight got stopped in the second round, which I believe it did. I believe the fight got stopped at 159.
Wait,
That's
really?
what they announced it.
Oh, really?
Right?
I was under the
impression the dude didn't answer the bell.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like didn't come out for the third round, was like, I'm done. Right? So like,
yeah, I thought that's what John told me.
Dude, that's what John told me too. But then when they announced him as winner, they're like TKO a minute and 59 seconds of the second round. So like,
see, I would trust John over the announcer because like announcers will like mix little things like that up sometimes where it's like technically he didn't answer the bell, but they call it as that. Or it's like, oh, it was a anaconda and they call it a darce. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah. But like a time, like that's pretty.
Either way, impressive win.
It moves him to 2-0. Max, what do you guys like to say? You're like the kids on our team. They always go like if you're 1-0, you're 1-0.
Yeah, I didn't know anyone. I started saying that whenever after I fought. I said
I've only heard it from you, but then I feel like I heard other people say it after. I heard
really?
You were the first person I heard say it.
Starting trends.
What's the saying, Max? Tell everybody.
I always said 1-0 is 1-0, but 2-0 is undefeated.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah. I like that.
That's pretty cool.
So Noah is now undefeated. Also on the card, Cam from Team Kohai. Just super clean fight.
Yeah.
Quick takedown. Took the back. Slapped out rat trap. Pounded him out. Got the dub. So Team Kohai 2-0 tonight. Shout out to my boys in Grand Rapids. Why don't you tell us a little bit about our boy Kyle's fight?
Yeah, so a friend of the gym, Kyle O'Hare. He's been coming through on Saturdays for the past couple months now. Been tremendous training partner. He's got some kickboxing wins already, Muay Thai wins, but this was his first MMA fight.
He had a strong 6th place finish in the Fantasy Football League this year. The one that I was the champion of.
Which I heard you got a trophy.
I did, dude. It's sick and a big ring. It was crazy. Awesome. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, Kyle came out. He looked great. It's in West Virginia, so he ripped a head kick. Didn't land, but like, if you're an 0-0 fighter and someone just rips a head kick at you, you're gonna be a little scared. Boom, gets the takedown, works his way to an arm bar. First round.
Yeah,
finish.
yeah. He attacked the arm block coming off of the back and just had that arm turned inside out. First round finish. 1-0 for the kid. I'm glad that he's in the cage. You know, he's been doing like a lot of grappling, like big time grappling matches, and I think he was 4-0 in Muay Thai already heading into this. Sometimes you start to be like, dude, you're not gonna get fights. You know what I mean? Like bro, like I'm like, if I had an 0-0 fighter and they were like, hey, we got this kid, he's like, you know, does blue belt, does all these, you know, super fight jiu-jitsu. Oh yeah, and he's also 4-0 Muay Thai. My debuter is not my white belt. Yeah. My white belt 0-0 at everything debuter is not fighting you.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so he's in there. He's got his MMA career started, and he's fun to watch. Max, did you happen to catch that fight at all?
I saw what he posted on his story afterwards.
Okay, so that's what I want to talk about.
The celebration?
What is that?
I don't know, but it looked like
it's gotta
like
be
a cheerleader dance or something.
Yeah. Did you see the dance?
I saw the dance.
Do you know it? Like,
I have
what
no
it
idea
means?
what that is.
It's got to be like
There's nothing you can say that is disrespectful, bro. That was sick. It was hilarious.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was.
If I was the other, because
like, is it from Fortnite?
Mike, I'm in my 30s, bro. What are you asking me?
Is it a TikTok thing?
I have no idea.
It was cool.
He's old at heart.
It was cool though. I liked it. He was just staring right at the camera, like doing this very elaborate dance. I liked it a lot.
I was a big fan.
Side note: he also won $600 on the blackjack tables afterwards. He hits me up. He's like, "Are you still here?" I was like, "No, dude. I'm actually already home." You know, like it's been 2 hours. I'm already home. He's like up 600. I'm like, dude, my man.
Dude, you're gonna have just like a whole squad of like young fighters.
Oh yeah, dude.
Just love playing blackjack.
Yeah.
You guys are just gonna.
I love it. And then they're gonna get to like the levels where they're fighting at like, you know, fun casinos, right? I'm gonna be like, let's go at the tables, boys. Yeah, I made some money that night pre-fight too. I go up to the athletic commissioner and I'm like, can I get my band? He was like, oh, I'm going to do them in a while. And I was like, yeah, can I get mine now? Like, I'm going to go hit the tables. And he's like, oh, yeah, for sure. Here.
Well, it's a good thing
gave it to me early.
Good thing these young guns want to go and gamble with you because I certainly don't.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. All right,
I'm sorry to be such a bummer. But
yeah. Well, hey, that's the MadeMen card from this weekend.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Nice. All right. Hey, we got fights this weekend as well. All right. We have fights for ourselves up in Niagara Falls, LFA. We have Farman Hassanov fighting again, and also Matt Factory's Bobby Murda is fighting on the same card as well. So 2 of our local guys will be fighting this weekend, Friday night on UFC Fight Pass, Niagara Falls, Canada. More information to be released via their social medias because I did not memorize it. All right, but let's talk UFC Seattle. Main event: Henry Cejudo, the greatest combat athlete in MMA history, versus Song Yudong.
Man, where do you want to start?
Yeah, Henry Cejudo gets the dub. Move on. Next.
Dude,
he's going to take him down and finish him in the first round.
Okay, so
this fight's not going to be competitive.
Before this weekend, I would have been like, nah, dude, Song Yudong, he's got the youth, right? After this weekend, I'm like, I don't know. But, dude, something is telling me.
It's the year of the old guy.
I got that gut feeling that Yudong's got it.
Whoa, okay, that's crazy. You actually think that, though?
Yeah.
I thought you were just being a contrarian.
No.
Or you were trying to get on Max's good side because Max hates Henry Cejudo.
No.
Max, why do you hate Henry Cejudo
I would defend
so much?
Henry Cejudo.
An exaggeration. I don't hate Henry.
I think he wrote me a novel.
Yeah, I saw it, dude.
It was a lot.
You're a hater.
I realized
it was crazy.
Gonna
It was crazy, and immediately I was like, "I'm gonna argue with him on the podcast." I was like, "I'm not talking to him right now." Yeah, dude. He hates Henry Cejudo. Says Henry Cejudo's wrestling is overrated. Says the world's not even that good at wrestling. Says Olympic medal doesn't count. All types of crazy things. No, seriously, I just think like here goes the thing. We talked about it on last episode. Henry Cejudo, ranked 31st in the world, comes out and wins the Olympics, right? Like, if this dude's dialed in, he's the real deal. and he really is, and that's all there is to it. Song Yadong, why? You guys tell me why you think he's going to win. I want to hear from you guys.
I feel like if he can keep it on the outside and land the cleaner strikes, which I see him having that like ability, it just shuts down what Henry's got. Henry's 5'4", Song's 5'8". I think that's.
But their reach is almost identical.
Yeah, but also even if the reach is the same, being taller is still easier.
Okay.
And again, I just feel like at this weight class, being 38, having multiple extended layoffs, it just, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. But with that said, everything that I wasn't feeling on this past one, I was pretty much wrong about. So
Song Yadong has twice as many losses as Henry Cejudo, and Henry Cejudo has been fighting at twice as high a level.
Yeah, no, for sure. I understand.
Like, that's something to consider.
I am not going to argue against you and be like, no,
dude,
you're wrong.
4 losses. Marab, DJ, Joseph Benavidez.
And I think it's another champ, right?
Henry's losses?
He lost a 35?
DJ, Joseph, who?
Aljamain.
Oh, Aljo.
That's it. Yeah,
Aljo.
Yeah.
Yeah, champ. So he's lost to 3 champs and a dude who fought for the UFC title 4 times.
But 2 of his 4 losses have been his last 2 fights because he's getting older.
Yeah, but both of those dudes were champs.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Literally, the current and former, the current and like second form. Like Aljo was a champ. What, 18 months ago?
Okay.
When did Sean O'Malley beat Aljo?
It was
August
of 23.
August of 23. That's when my daughter was born. It's February of 23. That's 18, and she's 18 months old. So it's 18 months ago. Aljo was the champ 18 months ago.
Let me ask you this then. Do you think that his fight with Marab, right, where he got out wrestled and everything, obviously Marab can do that to a lot of people. It's not like necessarily a bad thing. But do you think that part of the reason he lost that was the age?
I think there's that. I think Marab's really special. I also think that he didn't, in his wildest dreams, think that he was going to get out wrestled. So I think it like came as like a big shock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like the preparation for it. I think wrestling is going to be a big part of this fight. I think styles make fights just like everybody else. And I think Henry Cejudo is going to effectively out wrestle Song Yadong. I think Song Yadong has an ability to beat him, but he's going to have to knock him out from the outside, which we haven't seen done.
I'm not sure he has to knock him out. I think he just has to be able to hit hard enough to get respect. And like Yadong hits pretty hard, for a little dude. So
why does he lose so much then? Who's been beating Song Yadong?
That's a good question. Max, can you pull up his record real quick and just see who he's been losing to and how?
Why does his name rhyme?
Because I might be willing to be, persuaded to change my pick. But right now I'm sticking with Yadong.
Let me talk to you. Can I tell you
Mike,
something?
if you're interested in it, I have some numbers I'd like to give you.
Please,
about
Max,
this fight.
please.
But let me get his
because I've
record
been
up
just
first.
honestly, if I'm gonna be 100%, I've just been making shit up. Right I've been building an argument as I go. I'm freestyling this argument. I didn't even know that's who he was fighting. I was like, yeah, Henry Cejudo fights this weekend. Oh, Song Yadong.
We discussed it on the last one.
All right, so he's 21-8. He wears sunglasses. He's 0-1-1, which we already know 1 is trash.
Okay, so he lost to Jan. Nothing wrong with that.
Wow, he has not beaten anybody I'm impressed with.
Yeah, the only
to the level of Henry Cejudo.
Marlon was.
Is that Marlon Moraes? Can you
2022? Was he still good then? Was Marlon still good in 22, or was he super chinny at that point? He was super chinny.
Julio Arch,
Marlon's losing streak started with
Henry
in 2019. Henry was the first guy to beat him.
Wait, but was that how was that Corey Sandhagen fight? Was it like kind of fun before the cut?
Song was winning at least 1, if not 2 rounds before the cut.
But he lost to Kyler Phillips. Look at his loss at Kyler Phillips in 2021. He beat Cheeto.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, Mike. You're making some good points here. I think so far I'm still sticking with Song Yadong, but you're making some good points though. I'm not seeing anything here that like very much impressed me. Let's put it this way: this is the fight that's gonna kind of tell us how the rest of his career is gonna go.
Scroll up, Max. How was that Petr Yan fight?
Traditional Petr Yan. He lost the first round and then made his reads and won the last 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm just I feel Henry Cejudo.
Actually, you know, it's important. Do you remember in the Jan fight, did Jan get a bunch of takedowns?
He was able to get at least one or two. But they were unorthodox entries.
Yeah. They're the Jan takedowns.
Yeah.
Scroll down. What happened to Kyler Phillips? Could you click on him, please?
I don't know, but I haven't heard his name in forever.
What's his record now?
Wait, what?
He lost to Rob Font. He beat Pedro. Yeah. So is that his only loss? Is he something?
Oh, scroll down. There's more.
No, something in 2. He's only got 2 losses. What's that? Who is that?
Which one?
That's pre-UFC.
Wait, which one?
No, split decision.
Victor Henry. He's in the UFC now. He's actually pretty good.
Those are his only 2 losses, though. Are Victor Henry and then up top
Rulan Paiva.
And Raulian Paiva and Rob.
Oh, he's got 3 losses.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Dude, you're making some impressive points for for Henry. But actually, hold on. One last question, and this is the last thing that might sway me. Do you know where Yadong trains?
I believe
the
he still
UFC PI in China.
Oh, okay. So he's doing like Weili does?
Are
you just making shit up?
I'm pretty sure he still. I think he still trains at Team Alpha Male. I believe
he's at Alpha Male still.
I believe he's at Alpha Male.
All right, I'm gonna stick with Song.
I'm not gonna make a super long thing out of it. I just want to give you, because I could go longer. I just want to give you like 2 numbers here. Okay, just real quick. Mike, what do you think Henry Cejudo's takedown accuracy is?
Probably about 1 out of 3, 1/3, 33%.
Okay, yeah, it's about 32%, right?
Okay, so I was close.
Song's takedown
Yeah,
defense.
it's literally right there.
Oh, is it like 40%, like 4 out of 10?
No, it's it's up there.
Yeah.
No, more importantly would be knowing Yadong's takedown defense.
The joke here is that I was reading right off it. That's why I said like 33%, like 1 out of 3. The reason I didn't just say 32.47% is because I said 1 out of 3 to make it seem like I wasn't cheating.
I was looking for the percentage. You got it. You're good.
What would be more important is knowing Yadong's takedown defense.
Yadong's takedown defense is 72%.
And being an alpha male, they've got good wrestlers there.
We also know
they count practice rounds into your takedown defense percentage, or are they just counting fights? Because I just looked at Song Yadong's record and I didn't see no wrestlers at the level of Henry Cejudo on there.
For sure.
Also,
but no one's record is going to have that except people who fought Henry.
Henry Cejudo's takedown accuracy is going to be impacted by he is somebody who uses takedowns to strike.
Yeah,
like sure. Frankie Edgar's takedown accuracy. What's that? Right? Bet you it's like in the 30s, right? Mm-hmm. And we all know Frankie Edgar wants to put you down. He put his true takedown. Here goes the thing. The stats aren't going to show the ones where you're using like single legs with no intent of takedowns to just put in. Like Frankie like basically made that up. Like he like was the first person who was doing that.
You're so good at arguing stuff that you just had no plans on ahead of time. You're making great points here. That's not swaying me, but you're making great points.
But that does bear weight.
For sure.
When it comes to this takedown percentage.
Max, can you look up one more stat? And this is going to tell me everything we need to know.
This is so
We
fun.
can see their
This is my favorite episode so far.
We can see their significant strike accuracy. What about their absorbed significant strikes per minute? Because Yadong has a high output. The question is...
Henry Cejudo's never been knocked out.
Yadong's, his absorbed per minute is 3.9. And Henry's is 3.2.
Okay. Has Henry Cejudo ever been knocked down? By a headshot. That was by a knee to the body.
Well, it was a knee and then an elbow, wasn't it? It was kind of a flurry of knees and elbows. It was kind of...
I can agree that I don't remember.
Okay. I don't know if he's...
I know he got kneed in the body.
I don't think he's ever been rocked like with a headshot and like his chin flies back and he is dropped. I will also submit...
Have you ever seen a 5'4" Mexican get knocked out?
Dude, I was about to say, I feel like under a certain height, you can't get hurt like that.
Yeah, he's fine.
That's why I said earlier, I don't think you don't.
I don't
even know.
Listen, here goes the thing. I don't want you. You guys are right, dude. Song Yadong's gonna smoke him. Let's make our picks. I pick Henry Cejudo. You guys make your picks.
I'm gonna stick with Yadong.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
For no other reason than just
why am I trying to sway you over to my side? Like
because you love arguing.
I do love arguing, and it makes for fun, but...
I'm taking Song by TKO.
Oh, okay. I'm taking Henry Cejudo by smother choke. No, all right. I'm just let's okay.
I don't think Yudong is going to finish him, but I do think he'll win.
5 rounds, bro. Mm-hmm. You guys are out of your mind. You're talking about an Olympic champion, a 2-weight UFC champion.
How many guys do you know, especially at bantamweight, that have KO power in the 5th round?
I mean, O'Malley could do it.
Has he shown it?
No, but I'm sure.
Actually, has he? He hasn't, but I mean...
When did...
We've seen with Song against Ricky Simone that he can deal with guys constantly shooting on him for 25 minutes and still put them out in the 5th round.
That was a 5th round fight?
It was a 5th round TKO.
Ricky Simone was in a main event?
Yes.
What? Wait, was this during COVID? Why did this happen?
2023.
Holy smokes.
You know what's funny is I remember that fight. I don't remember being a 5-rounder.
I don't remember that fight. I don't remember being a 5-rounder. I can't imagine. Were they both unranked? Hey, let's have a freaking main event with 2 unranked fighters.
He finished with like a piston super straight right hand.
Yeah,
5th round, remember right.
Fight night. Man,
is that the fight I'm thinking of?
Click that card.
Like a 2-3.
Click on that card. I want to see how trash that card was. That they were the main event. 2 dudes I don't even know.
Wow, what a hater.
Oh, love sunglasses. Fight night, Sedong versus Simone. Co-main event. 2 other dudes. Well, I guess.
I mean,
I know he is now. There goes Adolfo Vieira, Cody Brundage.
Dude, speaking of old cards and like seeing who's on them. So, you know how you and I have been watching the old Glory?
Ah, look, Starfish.
You know how we've been watching the old Glory channel?
Yeah.
I have been watching it. I was watching that, and I was watching just like some old UFC fights, and like the whole card was on. And dude, just seeing some of the people on that card,
Marcus McGee.
You're just like, you forget who the stars were. I just watched. I only watched the last fight, but I saw some of like the previews and promo in UFC 77, Franklin Silva 2 in Cleveland. And it was funny too, because when Silva was walking out, they were like, "Oh, he's wearing Steelers colors."
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, it's just funny, like who was big at the time.
I got a couple more things to talk about Henry Cejudo.
Lay it down.
Yens want to talk about numbers. Let's talk about the numbers that really matter.
Okay,
I have some questions for you guys.
Hit us.
Do you think it's harder to win at the higher level or the lower level?
Harder to win?
Harder to win fights at the higher level or the lower level?
Yeah, higher level.
Like if you're fighting top 10 fighters, do you think it's harder to win fights? I want to hear it. Yes.
Higher level. Yeah, I'm with you.
Max,
I thought you were trying to pull some tricky for a second.
Yeah, I agree. It's harder to win. Yeah.
Would you say that it's also easier to not lose then at the lower level?
Correct.
Max?
To a degree, yeah.
We know where you're going.
To a degree.
Spit it.
Well, I think that a lot of the guys at the lower level, because it's harder to win, they're also going to be... You can make mistakes with the guys at the lower level that you can't make with the guys at the higher level. And at that higher level, you have the ability to like be
Max,
more
you're
defensively
not making a good point.
Here goes something.
No,
Calvin
I
Kattar
agree
was
with
ranked
him.
10th in the UFC on a 4-fight losing streak. How? Because he was only fighting other ranked fighters. You know what I mean? Here goes my thing. So, okay, all things being... So that would mean... That okay, like let's
Henry's
say
got a better like resume for sure.
Let's say someone's 7-3 against all top 10 guys, and another guy is 8-2 against guys ranked between 25 and 50. Who's more impressive record?
Fighter A, first guy.
Even though he has worse winning percentage?
Yes.
Now, what if that fighter had a much better winning percentage?
Dude, you don't got to convince me on this. You're making a
Henry
good point.
Cejudo has an 80% win percentage against a higher level of competition.
All right, let me ask you this.
Whereas Song Yudong has a, what did that be, 69% win percentage against lower competition.
Let me ask you this, Mike. So
those are the numbers that matter.
Obviously, Henry's age is something that's like influencing me a lot, right? He's 38. That's clearly
we
not
just watched Angela
you.
Hill and
Right.
Jared Cannonier
40.
just win.
Right. So
MMA
would
fights.
your opinion change if he was 40 years old?
Henry Cejudo? No.
Yeah. What if he was 45?
Yes.
Okay. What if he was 43?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously we're within a few years of that age mattering to you, right? All I'm saying is it matters already to me. That's really where I'm coming from.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
How old would Henry Cejudo have to be for a current max to beat him? Max right now at this current skill level. Not max in 3 years, max right now.
$55.
Okay, well, guess what?
That's younger than I was going to say. I'll take that.
All right, fair play.
Yeah, 55. Let's stick with that.
How old's Song Yadong?
27.
27. And jeez, he's got no hope. Cancel his career.
Is this fight cheese on a board, Mike?
Cheese on the board. All right, okay.
All right, enough of this fight. Let's move on.
I mean, it's the only fight on the card that matters.
I mean, kind of. We can just quickly run through and give some picks. Actually, this fight matters because someone's going to move up and or down the rankings.
Movers and shakers.
Next up is Brendan Allen and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Mike, who you got in that?
Anthony Hernandez.
Interesting. I was kind of on the fence on this. I'm leaning Hernandez. Give me pros and cons. Why?
Hernandez is just a more complete fighter. His striking's better and the grappling's like negligible.
Yeah, I think that, one thing we've learned over the past, 15 years of MMA is like, in order for your jiu-jitsu off your back to work, you need to have like a crazy, crazy skill discrepancy. And while Brendan Allen is good, I don't see him being that much better, especially than Hernandez. I think I agree with you.
Yep. All right, cool. The rest of the card is filled with fights that don't matter.
Hold on, real quick. Max, who you got in that fight?
Brendan Allen, Anthony Hernandez.
The Hernandez-Allen fight? I'm taking Allen.
Ooh, why?
Yeah. I think that if it was a 5-round fight, it would be a little bit different. But I think that I think both of them are like similarly. I think Allen has a little bit better skill. I think that he's a little bit crisper. He's distracting me. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Takedown accuracy.
Dude, I was about to say, I was about to be like, where does he have better skill? It's just jiu-jitsu.
I think Allen's
expand that right now. Dude. Expand it right now. Let's argue.
Okay.
I don't know anything about this. Dude, look at his takedown accuracy. It's only 39.13%, whereas Anthony Hernandez has 44.57%, and he has a 6.64 takedown average. Oh, look at Brendan Allen, 1.67. Holy crap! You might as well not exist.
Max Hernandez is a better wrestler, bro.
Look at this. Hernandez is better every single statistical category. Every single statistical category, Hernandez has an advantage, even in age.
Hernandez's style, I think, is like he's a grappling heavy cardio machine. He's gonna push a pace as long as he can and keep going, right? But I think Allen, over 3 rounds, has the ability to win at least the first 2 just on the feet, and then.
Well, here goes the thing: Anthony Hernandez lands more significant strikes per minute than Brendan Allen by 1. Right? So over 5 minutes, that's 5 more significant strikes. Not only that, but he has a significantly higher significant strike accuracy.
Dude, I think that...
Which means he only needs to... he can throw less and land more.
With all due respect...
With all due respect.
I don't think that Brendan Allen has elite level striking, and I don't think that Hernandez is like elite, but like it's better than Brendan Allen, dude.
I don't think Hernandez's striking is better than Allen's.
Well, guess what? There's only one way to find out. Let's have them fight this Saturday.
Ooh, this is fun because I might get told you so moments with both of you.
You're not going to get a told you so moment from me.
Ooh.
I feel more confident in Song beating Cejudo than I do in any other fight on this card.
Wow.
If Henry Cejudo wins this fight, you have to get his name tattooed on your neck.
We'll shake after recording.
All right, next fight.
Boring.
I'm gonna go with Silva. He's a fighting nerd.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Silva because he's a minus 650 favorite.
And also, I asked about this before, but also Melsick trains with Ronda's old coach, who, in my opinion, is not a very good MMA coach.
Okay. Oh my goodness, this dude's 16-0 fighting Rob Font.
Hold on, wait. Slow down, Max. Who you got?
Oh, Jean Silva. Yeah. Fighting nerds all day.
Yeah, me too, because I don't know either of these dudes, but one's up 6.5 to 1 favorite.
All right. What you got here?
I'm not picking this fight. We're not picking this fight.
Move on.
Alonzo Manifield versus dude with no picture.
This is interesting. The Rob Font fight. Okay, I have not seen what's his name, Jin Matsumoto fight before.
Matsumoto is stepping in on like a week's notice here.
But there's two things that I like about him. One, he's 16-0, right? Two,
he's 25.
We can add that to the list. He says he's Brazilian, but his name sounds Japanese, and that's a good combination as far as I'm concerned. That gets you the machitas, you know what I mean? Like that, you get karate and jiu-jitsu. That's pretty sick. Yeah. Rob Font's the man, though.
Yeah, but he's 37, and according to Henry Cejudo's math, he's going to die next Monday.
No, Henry's 38.
Yeah, I know. Different. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
Font's 37. He's okay. Henry's 38. That's a problem.
What are you, 38, right?
38.
Yeah. It all went downhill.
I'm 5 weeks. I'm 5 weeks older than Henry Cejudo.
Yeah, and dude, 37, brother, you're beating everyone this year. You know, it's just all downhill.
Man.
Dude, I don't know what to think about this fight. I
don't know anything about the other dudes.
Okay, here's the thing. I've been biased in ways where I'm just like picking on who I like. I'm not gonna do it this time. I'm gonna go Matsumoto.
I'm rooting for Rob Font, but
yes.
I'm not making a pick.
I'm rooting for Rob Font as well. If we're doing picks, I'm going.
Well, we're not doing picks.
We're not.
No, we're gonna pick.
Yeah. So ahead of this, Max is like, "Hey, let's choose which fights we're gonna make picks on. That way, it's not just us."
Did we choose this fight? We're like Rob Font.
Yeah, dude.
Well, guess what? I don't know who you think's in charge here, but it's me. We're not picking this fight.
Right on. Okay. So then we have all of our picks in for this upcoming weekend.
No, hold on. Click on this Andre touchy-feely fight.
I'm going Andre.
Wait, I might not be though.
Do you want to pick this fight?
Dude, he's 34. He's gonna die soon.
Oh my god.
Mike, would you like to pick against me?
No, because I like Andre Feely.
Yeah,
I'd be rooting for him, and I don't know the other guy. I'm not picking it.
Right on.
I just want to see the card, guys. I want people at home.
We literally just.
I want people at home to watch me look at the card.
Okay.
Look, there goes Ricky Simone. Oh my God! Open that up because that is Song Yadong's best win. This is Song Yadong's best win, highest profile win, 5th round knockout, and he is an underdog on the prelims.
Oh, dude, Basharat. Basharat's one of the guys that I think the UFC thinks is going to be a star.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are you picking? Who would you pick in this fight, Max? If we were picking it, which we're not. But just saying, for content's sake.
I would go Basharat.
I don't know enough about
You would go Basharat? Javid Basharat?
I've seen him fight. I believe if he's the guy I'm thinking of, his last fight wasn't as awesome as it should have been, but he still won.
Yeah, but what's your take on Ricky Simone? And that barn burner with Song Yadong until he got clipped in the 5th. Song Yadong's career highlight.
What do I think about it?
Yeah. I mean, you must think really highly of Ricky Simone.
I think Ricky Simone's a solid fighter.
At least Max does. Max, Ricky Simone or Henry Cejudo? Who would you pick in a fight?
Probably Henry.
Why?
Because Ricky's a wrestling style.
Faster, even at this age. I think that he's still faster and could outpoint him.
Yeah, but he has a 44.37% takedown accuracy.
Who, Ricky?
Yeah.
Why would Ricky be shooting on Song or Henry?
Because that's what he does, dude. Look at his takedown average.
He also has actual knockouts on his record, though.
I know, but
and he submitted Merab when Merab shot on him.
He's not submitting Henry.
What was it? That guillotine?
Yeah.
Where he kicked?
Yeah.
He didn't get submitted. That was bullcrap. That's a fake fight. Here goes what I got. Dude, how many Olympic medals has Ricky Simone won? Any UFC titles? Did he beat any legends? All right. Okay. All right. That's enough.
Should we go over the results after this last weekend of our picks?
Yeah. Where are we at? This is why we're on the... So the reason why I'm holding my ground and not picking fights like this is because a lot of time, so far, I've just been picking people I like, which is fine. But I've also just been picking fights. I don't know either of the dudes. And I'm like, yeah, him and him and him. You know what I mean?
No, I'm with that too.
Oh, great. Will's winning.
Hey, even with some of the picks I made with my heart, I should have just gone Shabazian.
I can't believe that Max went Cannonier. That's crazy.
Nazim, he pulled through for me. And Hill, right on. Yeah, dude. Oh, beating both of you guys feels good.
Okay, so the current results, I stand at 15, 15, and 1. Should we even do the 1? Because there was a draw. It's not like we got it wrong, right? It's like, if, for example, hold on. We can keep it. I don't care.
I think we do because it's just the same thing. It's a draw. You know?
Yeah, but like, for example, if this was sports betting, it would just be void.
I think that I have it there because if we wanted to count how many fights we've picked on in total, then we have an entire record of how many fights we've picked on. And so, like, that we've picked 31 fights.
Leave them for us, but if you want to just give the records as,
Okay, how about this, too? If you pick a draw and the fight ends up in the draw, you get 27 points then.
Dude, I'm in for that. I'm so in for that.
Yeah.
This fight will end in a draw, and it does 27.
You could just pick every fight as a draw, and as long as you hit, like, a couple in a year, you'd probably be all right.
Yeah, that was it. Can I change my pick? All right, cool. All right, yeah. All right, so nothing really earth-shattering there. Will, do you have anything else?
Oh, no, you didn't even give the numbers. Mike's 15 and 15.
Well, 16 and
16
14,
and
and Max is 14 and 16. After this week, I can only catch up to Will because we only have one difference.
We would have been able to get another
Max
point
can
if we
catch
picked
up.
the font fight.
You want to do the font fight?
Nah, but Mike and I are going to choose.
I'll just, whatever Will chooses, I'll just choose 2 then.
All right, I'm going Matsumoto.
Then I'm going Matsumoto. Like, fuck, like, dude, like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not picking fights on people I don't even know who
No, we don't
that
have
is.
to pick it.
Oh, I thought you said you were going to pick against me.
No, if you get it, I'm not letting you get ahead because
you.
I don't know who people are.
Got you. Well, actually, hold on. You want to go look back at the cards, see if there's anything we disagree on? Do you want to get your shot at victory here?
Yeah.
Or do you want to dig deeper in a hole?
Pull that card back up.
Oh, dude.
While we pull that card back up.
So easy to talk you into this.
Here goes some things that I got to know. Will,
What?
what's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh my god, I just said it downstairs and I forget. Lit. What's the song called? My Own Percent of Me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sing it.
It's no surprise to me.
I like that song actually.
Dude, everyone who's our age likes that song and knows that song.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a go-to karaoke banger.
Max, what about you? If you had to sing a karaoke song right now on camera, if we turned the phone to face your face right now and you had to belt out your best American Idol audition, what's it going to be?
Like I said downstairs, I could probably do Homecoming, but I need the music for that because I don't even remember.
The lyrics are there when you do karaoke.
Yeah.
Have you seen karaoke?
If we did, I've seen it. I haven't done it.
I've never done.
But that's
karaoke.
what I mean. If we did it, I would be like, oh, I can.
No, I
actually
did
do
it once at a graduation party. I did it one time.
Okay.
Actually, I take my pick
At a
back.
graduation party though.
But-
if you asked me to sing it right now, I'd be like, I'd have to look at it. But if you have the lyrics right there, then it's like you get the vibe of it,
But Mike, I would only change it if it's a duet between the two of us. We discussed this last time.
Oh yeah,
A whole new world.
A whole new world. Aladdin.
Yeah,
dude. All right, I'm in. All right. No, you know what? Show's over, guys. All right. That's this week's episode of Listen to Your Coaches. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the new format that we led the show off with. Looking forward to doing it again, getting better at it. And we will catch you guys next time. Hopefully we have some really cool results about Henry Cejudo just dog walking Song Yudong. Yeah, that's it. Peace.